Welcome again to Reflections on the Community and its Cultures. This time around, a look at community involvement in, well, show business, let's face it. Actress-singer Terri Barbera will discuss her involvement in motion pictures and singing and plays. And speaking of which, playwright Deborah Sandoval will be with us to talk about her writing and production and movie making and Lord knows what else. All that's coming up on Reflections. On Reflections this time around, we welcome a couple of charming ladies, or at least one of them is. We'll find out which. Deborah Sandoval is a playwright and a bunch of other things in our community. And Terri Barbera is a singer and an actress. And again, we'll find out all this stuff as we progress on. And you guys are doing work together, right?
Yes.
Okay. One of the things I seen you in, working together, was a play that Deborah wrote and that you had a role in. You had the musical segments.
The Hot Flash Singer.
The Hot Flash Singer, I see. And this play was called?
Extra Ketchup, Hot Flashes, and Rum.
Right. And and it was a remarkable thing. I mean, we can talk about the show itself, but it's just remarkable that it had a local production.
Yes.
And I don't know how many of those there have been of, again, homegrown plays, homegrown performances, and all that sort of stuff. How'd you do that? You had a series of productions, 2 runs as a matter of fact.
2 runs. We ran 2 nights the first time and 3 nights, or vice versa, I guess. 3 nights the first time and then 2 nights the second run. And, you know, I was attending some classes at ICC, the playwriting program out there is how I got started. And in one of the workshops that I went to during the Inge Festival, one of the playwrights said, you know, if you're looking for a place to put your plays on, don't sit around and wait, be active about it, and just get out there and self-produce if you have to in your own community. Mm-hmm. So I thought, well, okay, that's good advice.
And again, the setting, not the setting, but the place where you did the play was an innovation for our community too.
Right, the Booth Hotel / Bella Vita restaurant. Just happened to be up there visiting one night and having dinner and brought it up, and with Dave and Linda and Todd, the owners and manager up there, they were all for it. You know, they'd never done anything like that before, but they were on board, and so we just kind of went with it. It's turned out to be just a marvelous collaboration with them. They've just been very accommodating for us.
And
it worked out great.
They and you are looking to do some more stuff,
yes,
right?
Certainly, yes.
And maybe even have some other sorts of things. They have had some other sorts of things.
Yeah, since then they've brought in some
performers.
Musical numbers and things, different things, magic.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, congratulations, because
Thank you.
Again, well, you know, I play at writing plays, but I've again hung around the playwriting program at the college long enough to know that playwrights don't get plays produced. By and large, they just don't. I was recalling recently a conversation with one of the guest playwrights at the college, and she said, and she's had a number of productions, but she said that in her life, if she gets what seems like a personalized rejection letter, she considers that a great victory. You know,
right.
It's that hard to get that kind of stuff done. That play was about, Ketchup, Hot Flashes, and so forth, was about?
Well, it's about these 2 women that were lifelong friends, but had had a separation for about 18 or 20 years, and are just coming back together to meet again for the first time, where they always met as youngsters, and that was in the car at the Sonic. Mm-hmm. And lots of conversation. There's friendship. There's love, affection, betrayal, forgiveness, lots of things going on. And so it's just kind of what's been happening in their life over these last years.
And Hot Flashes and Rum each figured in the play.
Because they're menopausal at the time they come back together, and so that's how the Hot Flashes and the Rum gets in there. And part of the success, though, I have to attribute to the cast, and that was the main characters of Lois Lespin and Leah Shepard. Mm-hmm. And then my Hot Flash singers, Terri Barbera, Haley Hinthorn, and Heather Goodner.
Yeah, and so you got your chance to appear again in a very unique situation.
It was quite a privilege, because, well, especially the setting, and there was just such an overwhelming acceptance from the community. And being in Independence for almost 20 years, I have never seen that to that to that grand of an acceptance.
Yeah. We do a couple sections of the play, except they're anyway. We it was it pushed a few boundaries,
It
shall we
did.
say? But then that's what entertainment is all about. And this is not the only thing that you guys are working on. Or you're working on another project now. Terri, talk a little bit about that, and we'll come back to it too. But
We are actually two other projects, but they're by the same production company. Chance Film Productions is producing a movie called The Majestic, and it's based on the Majestic restaurant out of Kansas City, and some entertainers that surround the area. And I'll let Debbie give you more of the plot, since she is actually the rewriter. And also another movie called Candles, based on a true story out of Oklahoma.
let's talk a little bit about that one. Again, we've got lots of time, but that's one that I think was your first shot into this, wasn't it? Or
It was actually The Majestic.
Oh, okay.
However, Candles has become a bigger deal all of a sudden because of it being a true story. And it's an unsolved case. So there's a lot of intrigue and mystery about it.
where is it, or will it be taking place? The movie itself, not the story.
In Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma, is it?
You mean where the shoots will be?
Yeah,
taken?
right,
Yes,
yeah.
in the Oklahoma area.
Okay. And when is that going to come about?
Well, we're in the process. They've already started. They shot the trailer already, but they're working on trying to get some of the other shots in before the weather changes, because it all takes place in the summer. So before the trees change, we're trying to get some shots in.
Oh, they're going to have to really hurry then, aren't they?
they
Yeah,
are.
yeah. Okay. And what will your participation in Candles be?
I will actually be Janice Davis, and she's one of the OSBI forensics chemists that was in the story of the three girls.
Good to be a cop then, eh?
I do. I get to be a cop with the whole
Have
cuffs.
you always wanted to be a cop?
Jim, you have no idea. That's a whole nother story, though.
Well, I've heard you have command presence, but that's another story entirely. But that's really fascinating. How did you get into the movie business?
It was a shock for me, I'll tell you, honestly. Actually, a local, Laura Tucker, she and her daughter has been in commercials, and she has an agent, I believe, out of Kansas City. But they ran across an audition where they needed jazz and blues singers, and she Facebook messaged me, and she said, "Terri, this will be the perfect, I thought of you as soon as I read this, it'd be perfect for you." And Jim, I don't like auditions. I don't know anyone that truly does. So I thought, well, to help kind of overcome that anxiety, let's just try it, It'd be a good experience, if anything. So my sister and I traveled to Norman, Oklahoma, and she's an OU fan, so she had to go. And we stopped by there too. But I walked into the audition room, and I sang a song, and I truly had not prepared for after the song. I'd only prepared up to the end of the song. And when he said that he wanted to use me, I was totally speechless. And it's a good thing you're getting this on film today, or on video, because no one will believe you. But I was completely speechless.
I wasn't going to say anything rude and crude like that.
You've known me way too long not to.
How unlike me. And we'll come back again to the various lives that you live, that both you guys live. Well, let's kind of go back to the playwright for a moment. You mentioned that you kind of got the bug through the playwriting program at
Right.
ICC. Why did you get involved in that? Let's start at the very beginning.
Actually, I enrolled in the first class in 2004, and that was at the strong suggestion of my friend Gary Mitchell, who kept saying, "You've got a lot of stories to tell. You need to get in this class and start writing."
Mitchell's everywhere.
Yeah, he's everywhere. And so I did. I enrolled in the first class, and after the first night, I thought, "Oh, I don't belong here. This is not for me. I don't know what I'm doing." But at the encouragement of one of the instructors, he encouraged me to stay, and I just started from there. And one of the first plays I wrote in that first semester I submitted it to some festivals and contests, and it began to get lots of attention, and it won some things. And I thought, oh, okay, well, this is kind of fun. So I just kept going, and now it's something I have to do.
What kind of writing had you been doing before that? You mentioned that Mitchell said you've got a lot of stories to tell.
Well, I wrote poems as a kid. I was a child of the 60s, and so I wrote these, heartfelt, silly things when I look back on them now to my parents, who were, I considered the establishment at that time and were, against all teenagers. And so I have all these things to look back on. But yeah, so I started out with just poetry.
Uh-huh.
And,
of course,
short stories.
And of course, there's a huge market for poetry too.
Yeah.
So, but then into stories.
Yeah, and I took a creative writing class from Dan Sullivan, who's one of our INS dignitaries that comes often, and just kind of kept going from there. But then once I got started into the playwriting, that's kind of been my writing of choice.
Again, like I say, I play a little bit at playwriting, and I've.
You do more than play, Jim. Come on, be honest.
I tell people that it's really a different language.
Yeah.
If you write poetry, that's one thing. If you write stories, that's another thing. But none of that is anything like writing plays.
Right.
You have to write stuff for people to do, and you can't say what they're thinking. We got to figure that out on our own.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the fun part of it, isn't it?
It is, and that's what makes it so fun and thrilling when you like the extra ketchup, hot flashes, and rum, when people started reacting to it in such a positive way, because there's nothing better for a playwright to hear than "I've never laughed that hard," or "I haven't laughed that hard in so long," or to know that your words are touching somebody in some way. That's what you write for.
Thumbnail guess, how many plays have you written?
Well, I've probably written maybe 20 plays.
And probably most of them on the short side?
I have, I think, 2 full lengths,
Yeah.
or maybe 3 full lengths, and then they range from 10-minute, 20-minute, 1 act, 30 minutes, just the gamut.
Yeah. Interesting, great stuff. And again, you're really doing some real innovation in our community and getting your stuff, on the stage where you're doing it. And people who don't know how rare that is, it's as rare as getting songs recorded. It's as rare as having hits. It's as rare as having someplace to play Saturday night. It's all quite a crapshoot, And we'll talk more about it. We'll continue this conversation with the ladies in just a moment.